Alright, this is Andrew with Redondo Home Inspections. We are doing a sewer scope today here in Salt Lake. We're at 1934 East Redondo Ave. We have the camera pushed out 66 feet, so it's a pretty short line. Looks like we're hitting the city line here. Now we're going to pull it back and record it and see what we find. So that's the city line that you see on the screen, and this first connection point is called the nose on. That's where it goes from your lateral line into the main city line. Right off the bat, there are some roots coming through that first joint, kind of crawling through. Looks like clay pipe, and with clay pipe you have a lot of joints. You'll have a joint every 3 feet or so. And so there's a lot more possibility to get roots with a clay line. That's going to be a maintenance item that you need to keep up on in the future. Bad enough that I'd recommend that it be cleaned now and then periodically in the future. I mean, that one's blocking, call it 60% of the pipe at least, blocking quite a bit of it. Luckily the bottom's still open. That's probably where I push my camera through and my waste hits it and kind of channels through it. But as that grows, it'll eventually create a blockage where it backs up into the house. More roots. Once you have the line cleaned, I'd recommend that it be cambered again. That looks like a sewer access, and so you can see the opening on the top of the pipe. That's another spot where you could access the line. More roots. Little bit of an offset right there where the pipe is slipped. Another little offset there where there's a lip. Little more likely for waste to get stuck when you have an offset like that, but those ones are not huge. Now we're transitioning to cast iron. Cast iron is the weakest link. It gets rough and rusty and will eventually need to be replaced. So far, for being cast iron, this looks honestly pretty decent. The bottom doesn't look completely eroded away, but you can start to get channel rot where it thins out, and that's another thing that can require it to need to be replaced. As long as you have proper grade, which it looks like this one has good grade, it would be a good candidate for a liner, where they just blow a sleeve in it. And that's easier, obviously, than breaking up the basement slab. You just dig a hole outside and blow in a liner. But I'd also recommend the cast iron be cleaned. Now we're transitioning to PVC. Little PVC where looks like some remodeling was done. I didn't see a sewer, well, I meant plumbing vent. I was starting to say sewer stack, but I didn't see one of those either. You should have a plumbing vent, at least one that goes through the roof. Imagine a straw full of water, and if you have your finger over the top, it doesn't drain. Same thing with your plumbing system, your drainage system. You should have a vent that goes through the roof, and that's kind of like the top of the straw. And if you don't have a vent, then it's relying on probably air admittance valves inside the house. That would be my guess, because I didn't see anything that was just completely not draining. And so there's got to be something allowing air in, but it's not going to drain as well. And I'd have to reference, but I think the requirement is to have at least one that physically goes outside through the roof. I'm going to end this recording now.